So a couple of days ago, a game called Darkwood came out of early access after about 3-4 years, I think. This is a game I've been following for quite a while, and I was really excited to see it come out of early access. As you can probably tell at this point, this is an unscripted video. I just wanted to give my first impressions about Darkwood. It's a pretty good game, and to be honest, I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. So if you didn't know, Darkwood is a top-down survival horror game in the same, or similar I should say, sort of vein as things like Lone Survivor, although before you say it, yes I know that wasn't top down, but it's a similar sort of graphical appearance and aesthetic. It's a game about blurring the lines between reality and nightmare. As time goes on, more and more horrors crawl out of the darkness to try and eat you. Now I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm going to be really quick and really careful with this first impressions video. This is a game that you absolutely should play if you like survival horror games, more specifically if you like horror games that use tension and atmosphere to create that sense of horror, that sense of deep, unending fear that so few games can actually do right these days. And I'm currently right at the end of chapter 1, and by the looks of it I've still got another sort of 10 to 12 hours to go, which is great. It's actually really enjoyable. There are very few flaws in this game, or at least there are very few flaws that bother me. I can understand why some people won't like it. Some people won't like the top-down perspective, that's fine. For me it works really well. It does a superb job of creating a fantastic atmosphere for this game. The way that it works is that you only have a limited view, so you have sort of a cone of vision, as it were. Everything in front of you can see clearly, and everything around you only have a sort of vague idea of what it is. And it does happen quite a lot where your vision behind you in, I suppose, the shadowy area of your periphery looks different to how it would look when you actually turn around. It's really clever. It's got a really smart vision system, and as I say, this is something that would not work if it was anything other than top down. So what they've done there with the game's aesthetic and the way that you actually view the world around you, it does a stunning job of just bringing to life that blending of reality and, I suppose, dreamlike quality, especially the way the rest of the game plays out. And it's rare for a game like this to stick with me as much as it has, and to actually unsettle me so deeply. I mean, Lone Survivor managed it for a little bit, but as time wore on in Lone Survivor, I found myself bored. I was getting kind of fed up with the game. This isn't the case in Darkwood. It's done a superb job. The game world is kind of free roam, but there's plenty of places to go. It's not overpopulated with enemies. There are enemies, don't get me wrong, but certain types of enemies are limited to certain areas. Most of the time you can avoid them by just sort of circling around them. This does bring to light, attempting this does bring to light one problem though with the game, which is that the enemy's vision, it's a bit hit and miss. Sometimes the enemies will stare right at you and not see you, and other times you'll spin around in circles checking the area, start walking off, and something will come lurching at you from behind, apparently from halfway across the map. So the game features a day-night cycle. During the day you can see pretty much everything around you, although as I say, I mean, the vision does change depending on where exactly you're looking. During the day you can run out, explore the map, scavenge supplies, kill enemies. There is a lot to see in this game. A lot to see. There are NPCs, side quests galore. A lot of the characters, the artwork especially for the characters and for the areas is really nice. It's really well thought out, and it really adds to the superb atmosphere and aesthetic of the game. There's a ton of stuff. This is a really fleshed out, well thought out game. So that's what you'll be doing during the day. During the night you'll be holed up in a hideout, surviving from the beasties, the ghosts, the hallucinations, all manner of stuff. You'll be hiding out from those things, surviving the night, keeping an eye on your doors, your windows, setting traps, that kind of thing. It tends to build up, so it'll start off with sounds. You'll hear footsteps. If you've laid traps, you'll hear enemies walking into them, screaming, howling in pain, and those noises, because you only have a vague idea of what's going on around you. If you're boxed up in one room with one light on and all the doors and windows barricaded, you can't see anything, you can only hear it. And it's incredibly smart, incredibly clever, and it just keeps building that brilliant atmosphere. So this is a resource management game as much as it is a survival game, although these days, especially with things like DayZ, 7 Days to Die, Rust, that kind of thing, those two kind of go hand in hand. If you die, it's not a big deal, you just spawn the next morning, but dying even on normal mode does carry some weight, because if you survive the night you get reputation points with traders who will come to your hideout every morning, and those reputation points are basically used in the place of money. in essence, so this is just the first impressions of Darkwood. As I say, there are a few things that bother me. The enemy's vision bothers me a little bit. The amount of damage enemies do bothers me a little bit. Some of the enemies do very little damage, but there are these enemies called huge dogs, and I'm sure you can't even remotely guess what they are. They could kill you in sort of 3 or 4 hits, depending on your difficulty. One of the biggest reasons why enemies like that are frustrating is because although there is a dodge mechanic, you only jump straight back. And since a lot of enemies have a charge attack, it doesn't really help. But overall, what I really enjoy about this game is just the fact that they've done a sublime job of creating a fantastic atmosphere. The music and the diegetic and non-diegetic sounds are just phenomenal. The game is incredibly enjoyable for its brilliant atmosphere. So if you do like those kind of games, if you're a fan of like Silent Hill, that kind of thing, this game is very evocative of Silent Hill's atmosphere, especially Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 2, with the way that it uses sounds and the fact that you can hear enemies but not necessarily see where they are. In case you couldn't tell, I really love this game. It's superb. I absolutely urge you to play it if you like these kind of things, or even if you don't, if you just want to find something that gets you a bit scared or something that's a bit different. It is really good. If you like what you've heard so far, please go and support the developers. Developers like this are what really desperately what we need in the industry at the moment, because I'm sure you guys already know, but this industry is getting a bit stale and there's a lot of games that are very samey out there at the moment, so supporting something like this is a brilliant step in the right direction. If you guys liked it, do let me know. If not, that's cool, and I'll see you in my next video, which will be a review of this game. Thank you very much indeed, guys.